it'll just magically take out the entire word, the sentence, and the fact that because it has your voice, it can dub the voice to add filler words. I am encouraging agents, if you have limited funds, I would invest in Canva first because of all of the AI tools that are essentially APIs.
There's lots of opportunities to be able to duplicate yourself and leverage your time.
What's going on, world? This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal, and today I'm elated to have someone, and I want to say 20 plus years, I have been lightweight stalking you online. Let's just go with that, okay? Watching your every single move, and that is my girl, Katie Lance. What's going on today, Katie?
Hey, Marky, I'm so happy to be back. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm elated to have you back. When did you work for Inman? That's when I took notice to who you were and what you were doing.
It was about 12 or 13 years ago. Yeah, so about a dozen or so years ago. Yes. So time flies.
It does fly. And you were talking all things technology. I was just getting started, trying to catch up. And then you decided to do your own thing. And what I had decided to do, because we've talked on numerous occasions. We have been on one another's podcasts. We have worked on projects together. We know that on November the 30th, 2022, the world that we knew forever changed. Now, most people might not know that that's the day that ChatGPT hit the streets. And in that first week, I'm hearing Gary Vaynerchuk talk about it. I'm hearing Charlene Johnson talk about it. I'm like, oh, I need to go use this too. And we were doing business one way the day before this happened. And since then, a whole new world of opportunities has become available to us. I want to know, what are some of the changes you've implemented and encourage real estate agents to implement since ChatGPT hit the street?
Well, it's changed my world. I know it's changed your world in so many ways. And it's amazing how it's evolved and gotten better and better. And I was blown away, end of November 2022, and I'm constantly blown away, as it's continued to evolve. I think one of the coolest things to understand for anybody who's newer to AI or newer to ChatGPT is it's so easy in the sense that once you get into it and start exploring and asking questions and uncovering all the different ways it can help you, it's just absolutely incredible. I mean, for me personally, it's really turned into kind of a virtual assistant in a lot of ways. I have worked with it for so long, and I have trained it. I have put in the time to customize it, to really have it understand my brand and my value proposition and my voice. And so what that means is I'm able to, if I've got, some sort of harebrained idea, I can be like, what ChatGPT thinks of this, and I can go in there and say, hey, I'm thinking of this, and based on this, what are your thoughts about this? And almost using it as a way to brainstorm in a lot of ways. And that's been just one huge way that I've been using it. But I've also been using it to just sort of help with tasks that I am often doing, like writing email newsletters, writing descriptions for YouTube descriptions, writing titles, coming up with keywords, all this stuff that's important, but it can really take a lot of brain power, as we know. And I'll just give you a quick example of something I've been using for a lot lately, like YouTube. YouTube's been a huge part of our business, huge lead generator. We just did a session in our academy this morning about YouTube. And what I love is you can take the transcription of a YouTube video, my words, right, or your words, whoever's doing the video, upload it into ChatGPT and say, this is a video I just created about X, Y, and Z. Based on the transcription, based on my words, come up with a search engine optimized description, a search engine optimized title, suggested keywords for this audience or that audience. Now turn this into a compelling email newsletter, or now turn this into an email sequence with the goal being, I would love to, promote my academy or whatever class I have. So it's not doing the work for me. It's just helping me do it a little bit more efficiently. And like you, I very rarely am just like copying and pasting. Although it's gotten that good, I probably could because I've spent the time to do it. I'm always still double checking it, especially for anyone in real estate, double checking for fair housing and making sure that it's sounds like you and it's compliant. That's super important. I mean, I can go on and on, but those are a few things just off the top of my head that I'm certainly using it for.
Well, guess what? I think you've led the direction of the conversation. So let's come back. You and I both believe in video, right?
Mhm.
We've created so much video content that now leveraging AI with our voice paragraph, style, and tone, just from the videos we created
Yeah.
pre-chat GPT, we technically have enough content for life. Now, all of
Yep.
that content isn't going to be relevant, right, in 10 years. And the fact that you're taking the time to sit down and create the video, but there are extensions that will allow you to extract that full transcript. And here's the thing, I'm still using the free version of one of those tools. So I can do 3 transcripts
Mm-hmm.
every single day. I launched a newsletter about 6 weeks ago. I launched it. One, I wanted to commit to being consistent. So I didn't go set up anything fancy, a Substack or any of these newsletter platforms. I said, I'm going to do this over on LinkedIn. So every Saturday morning, I get up and I write a newsletter from my video the same way, using the same plugin, copy and paste that into my newsletter project in ChatGPT, and it rewrites all of my words into this newsletter that we're approaching 1,800 subscriptions. But now that means that the people who subscribed on LinkedIn get an email from me once a week from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And because you have the academy and you are a queen of both create and repurpose content, let's talk about some of the other things that real estate agents can do. But let's lead with that video. The one thing they still don't want to create. The video, Katie, is what drive. I'm seeing how it's been able to drive your business, because my first visual of you was video.
Yeah.
Right. And you stuck with me. A lot of people, the first thing they see of me is video, and it stuck with them. Or if I look at Skylar, my son, the reason he's been able to accomplish what he was able to do last year, he created 88, get this, 88 videos.
Oh,
That was it. So what are other ways that you are leveraging artificial intelligence to repurpose the content that you've already created?
yeah. Well, I love that you asked me that. And I didn't plan for you to ask me that, but I love that you asked me that. We're always on the same page. I feel like there's so much of what we do. So I've been using a tool for off and on for quite some time called Descript. For anybody listening, it's the letter D as in David, Escript. Hopefully I spelled that right. Descript.
You did.
Okay, good. I'm saying that out loud. And I've used that for a while. I used the free version for a long time, and now I use the paid version. And what I love about that, especially lately, there's some great AI integrations. So I use it specifically for my YouTube videos and my podcast, because that's long form content. Now you can use it for short form content, for Reels and TikToks. You can do that. For me, I use it primarily for long form stuff. So what I do with my YouTube videos and podcasts, I upload it into Descript. I love that it gives me a transcription immediately. So I've got that transcription that I can later copy and paste that, put into ChatGPT and turn into LinkedIn newsletters, like you said, or email newsletters, or other types of content. First of all, I can edit it within Descript. And the way Descript works, as you probably know, when you're editing, you're just deleting words you don't want, which is fantastic. And one of the latest things with Descript is they have this AI tool called Underlord, which every time I say it, it makes me laugh. But Underlord is amazing. It's an AI tool. And every single video, there's a few things I do with Underlord. There's a sound button. It says like studio sound. Now I'm like you. I've got mics. I've got the setup, but I'm still like, I hit the studio sound button and it makes me feel like I'm like in I don't know, a professional studio, the way the sound just cleans it up. So that's an AI tool that I absolutely love. It'll also check for filler words or duplicated words, and it'll give suggestions. So you can just quickly, like within seconds, I'm all about this shouldn't take hours, right? And within seconds, just kind of clean it up, which is fantastic. And then the last part that I really love is there's a little button that says create clips. Would you like to create clips out of this long form content? Yes, I would. And it'll take this 5-minute video or 30-minute podcast and create 5, 6, 7, 8, however many clips I want. It'll kind of pick out the juiciest ones that AI thinks are really helpful. I look at them. For the most part, they're right. There might be one that I'm like, hey, that's not a great one. I can fiddle around with it a tiny bit, maybe fix the captions. But 9 times out of 10, I'm like, cool, I've got a long form video. Now I've got four little short clips. Download those. And now I've got my long form video plus like 4 or 5 little reels I can post to Reels, TikTok, or whatever it might be. And so it's just been a huge game changer as far as like taking long content and repurposing it into short form content. That's just one tool I've been using, but I've been loving it. It's awesome. And I'm not affiliated, by the way. Any tool I mentioned today, I do not get paid. I just use it. I think it's great.
Now, I was using Descript in 2023, but did not renew because I went over to use Opus Clips, where you load the video and it extracts it. But let me come back to say this about Descript. A couple of things I did love. Oftentimes, when we are editing a video, we're editing to the audio, right? To delete the words. With this tool, with it removing the ums and the ahs, we are not, one, it's taking care of that in the filler words. But what I like is the fact it's not an audio editor because you'll go back and forth to get to that clip. You just copy the word and delete it. You know what I'm saying? You highlight the word delete, it's gone, right? So it's more of a visual editor to me than the audio that takes so much time to get to that right point, to clip it, right? Just so you won't hear that word, where it'll just magically take out the entire word, the sentence, and the fact that because it has your voice, it can dub the voice to add filler words.
Yeah, I feel like, oh shoot, I should have said this. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I love that it'll when you're looking at Descript, if you can imagine it, I mean, I know you've seen this, but for the listeners, you see the transcription. And when you delete it, it literally just puts a line through it, which means it's taking it out of the video. But if at some point you're like, oh, I really wanted that story back in, I really wanted that sentence, you can just like click a button and it'll put it back in. So it's not like it's gone forever and you're like, oh no, which is great.
So I love Descript, and that is an excellent tool for thinking about monetizing your YouTube. Monetization came back for Reels. No. Was it? It wasn't Reels this year. It was not slideshow. What is that? Where we put multiple pictures and videos on Instagram on carousels. Was back this year. So a lot of us are monetizing these locations. And so this is a tool that will pay for itself. Now, I know you and I have both done extensive training on the almighty Canva.
Yes, we love Canva.
Do we love Canva?
I told Paul, my husband Paul, Paul,
yes.
If Canva ever went down, there would be an issue. It's a big part of my business, for sure.
And people love Canva. Right now, even between ChatGPT, I am encouraging agents, if you have limited funds, I would invest in Canva first because of all of the AI tools that are essentially APIs inside of Canva. But this whole new Kojo app for you, it codes for you. I said, and here was the crazy part. So for those who don't know, this is brand spanking new, right? This is in 30 days new. That you can come over, let's say you want to be able to track something or create some type of accountability tool. In Canva, it will actually code it for you. And you can set it up as a website and they will host it for you, right? And all you got to spend is $10 a month. I don't know why we had to argue with people to spend $10 a month.
I know it's truly incredible, and I'm really loving, especially with Canva now, the AI generated images. I feel like that's a huge thing that has gotten better and better. You look your original question back from ChatGPT back to where it was in November 2022, and just how AI imagery has evolved and gotten better and better. And, one of the things I'm seeing a lot of the agents we work with in the academy they are creating AI generated images specifically for their city or their metro area, because especially when it comes to if you're in a, someone big urban area like Phoenix or Seattle or Austin or something, it can create some amazing images, whether it's, and having fun with it. Maybe it's sort of pop art style or watercolor style, sort of based on your brand. And those are, unique images that you can use as images, you can use them as graphics, as videos. But it's absolutely blowing me away.
With Canva, with the Dream Lab, right? For those of us who have a subscription, we get 500 images a month.
Yeah.
And I think with the latest update to Canva, with the free, you get 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who are taking those 500 images and they are creating subscription based, like everybody I know who's paying is some form of fashion trying to monetize it, right?
Okay.
Whether that's from writing your books, whether that's from providing templates. There's so many possibilities once they allowed you to share a template, right? And so Dream Labs allows us to create those 500 images. And actually, it's 2,000, right? Because we get 500 runs of 4 images.
Sure.
But this is what I found baffling was the latest update to ChatGPT with the photos. Because you can write a note, load it to ChatGPT, handwritten note, load it to ChatGPT, and it can create a infographic for you. So I did that the other day, and it created the entire infographic. So you don't have to outsource that. You likely don't need Fiverr anymore, where everything starts at $5, never ends at $5, right?
Never.
But starts at $5. So the images and the words are accurate for infographic. And even when you were speaking, the people in the academy were using it for photos in Austin. If they wanted to write Austin, and if they wanted to include a quote about Austin, and it would spell it accurately, when we know that was not a capability 60 days ago. Not inside of ChatGPT. It wasn't.
Letters, numbers, and you would say, "Oh, correct the spelling or fix it," and it was not. It was not a thing, and that is a huge update just in the last 30 to 60 days for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, based on what's your prediction for this year? What are you seeing as the next biggest, baddest thing in AI?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to predict, right? Because it is changing so fast. I think that it'll be interesting to also watch just from a government standpoint, like legislation. I think that they are trying to sort of quickly catch up on, the rules and regulations, and we see a lot of stuff with, Meta in the courts and stuff like that. I not to go down a rabbit hole, but I think that'll be interesting to see what sort of plays out. Legally. And I think, obviously on our end, it's like doing your due diligence, making sure you're using it, in an ethical way, of course. But I think for especially real estate agents or entrepreneurs, I think it's just so exciting. I think video AI will continue to get better and evolve. We're seeing a lot of folks who are like you've done, creating your own avatar, just where you're, able to kind of replicate yourself on video. I think that quality is going to get better and better, which is exciting and also a little nerve-wracking, but also exciting. I think there's lots of opportunities to be able to duplicate yourself and leverage your time, because that's where I think AI is such a huge opportunity. It's like there's only 24 hours in the day. So I'm able to, I feel like, get twice as much done because I'm implementing AI into my business. And I think especially as we look into the future, video, I think, is a huge opportunity. We saw the huge strides that images have made. And I think video is probably that next frontier.
Well, what I want to do is encourage everybody to start leveraging these tools today. Katie, I know that you have the Academy. Tell people how they can reach out to you and be able to join the Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way is just go to katielance.com /academy, KATIELANCE.com /academy. We do tons of training and we've got lots of resources. AI is a huge topic that continues to evolve and continues to change. And we'd love to connect with anybody on social. You can just Google me, Katie Lance. You'll probably find me just about anywhere. We'd love to connect.
And they will find you anywhere. Katie, I want to thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come and share some of the ways in which you're leveraging these tools. We want to encourage real estate professionals to leverage these tools because we have been able to increase our productivity. And I'm telling people, actually reduce the cost. When we think about the things that we can do online, if I go back in time, I was doing classified ads, had bus benches and billboards. I'm not doing any of that, but I am leveraging the paid version of Canva and ChatGPT in order to be consistent, to build systems so that in the future I'll have a business worth selling. So thank everybody for chiming in, and thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Marky. Thanks, everybody.